Greetings and salutations and good morning, everybody. Welcome back. How you guys doing today? This is Hump Day. But anyways, guys, so as the title implies, we're going to be going over the latest Pixel drop, which if you don't know what that is, don't worry, I'll explain it. So the Pixel drop is when Google releases new features that's specifically for Google Pixel phones. And these tend to beef up either already current features that has new development implemented into it, or it brings something new that they've been kind of like quietly working on that the Pixel phones would be able to do and just are now bringing it out. So before I get into that, let me go ahead just real quick. You know, I do it all the time. Shout out to all the channel members. Thank you guys for being a member of the channel. Really, really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to crack open a cold one, but that would be green tea. You guys know I don't drink, not like that. Also, if you guys want to show support to the channel and for, future podcasts and stuff like that, and maybe even grow this thing into something, like a major media type, who knows? I mean, I'm just spitballing here. But there's a way you can do it. You guys can do like a one-time monetary donation right there to the PayPal link. But the biggest way that you guys can just show support is just by smashing the like button. That absolutely helps these live streams very, very much. So yeah, while, I kind of wait for a little bit more for people to kind of come in. As you're coming in, please feel free to say hi. Please smash the like button too as you're in there. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon next to it and choosing all, and then you won't miss a podcast. I mean, I know YouTube's notification system is not the greatest, okay? But we got to work with what we got until YouTube fixes that. We'll see what happens. So, anyways, if you guys missed last night's late live stream, I basically talked about the Pixel 5a. So before I kind of really jump into the Pixel drop, please, when you guys are done with this, if you guys want, check it out. It's it's kind of crazy. Pixel 5a and what it exactly would be. And to me, it's very, very similar to the Pixel 4a 5G. But all that is talked about in last night's live if you guys missed it. So I'm just letting everyone know that I did a live stream late last night. So I did 2 live streams in one day. So yeah, you definitely don't want to miss that. Go check it out. Pretty informative. And again, shouts out to everyone that came in. And then also yesterday, kind of like compared the prepaid carriers just to see where they're at currently today in the month of March 2021. What kind of promo deals do they have? What type of plans do they have and everything like that? So shouts out to everybody that joined that live stream. That was dope. Glad to have you guys there. So, all right, let's get into the latest Pixel drop feature. So if you own a Google Pixel phone, this is definitely something that you're going to want to kind of take notice of. Now, some of the Pixel drop features I've heard are only for the Pixel 4 and higher. And so this will kind of outline it. So this was posted by 9to5 Google. I like to read their stuff. Curious to see what the Pixel 6 will offer. That will be on a different time when we actually talk about the Pixel 6. The Pixel drop basically is just talking about the features that current already released Google Pixels just recently got. It's not going to mention anything about the Pixel 6, but I will actually do a live stream talking about the Pixel 6 as we get closer and closer to it. So anyways, this is reported by 9to5 Google March Pixel feature drop. Underwater photos, Gboard Smart Compose, and more. I like how they just kind of like advertise that, and more. It's so funny. So it says right here, while Android 11 is no longer the newest version of Google OS, it will remain the stable release for the first part of this year. Well, obviously, duh, they didn't release Android 12. To help remedy that, March Pixel feature drop is now here, along with the latest security patch and several bug fixes. So the first thing that we get with the Google, with the Pixel drop released by Google is a Recorder Cloud Backup and Web app. So the Pixel's powerful Recorder app can now automatically back up to Google Drive, which impacts Google One storage. Users previously had to manually upload via the share sheet, while past recordings would not be carried over to the new or other phones. Cloud storage also means multi-device access through a new recorder.google.com. So that's the link to that. Let me click that, and then I'll probably like screen share that website. So, oh no, I can just do it from here. Oh, okay. So this is what it looks like. Share, play, search your audio, record for web. Recordings backed up from the recorder app on your Google Pixel will appear here. And pretty much, it's just a simple site, nothing too extravagant. Okay, yeah. So the Google Recorder app still only works in English. For more, read our full hands-on. So they have like full hands-on that has to do specifically with the Google Recorder app. So I mean, that's actually pretty cool because the Google Recorder app is actually it really is a nice tool, especially like where I would see this being used at definitely is like for college students if they're recording lectures that they want to refer back to in notes. This definitely helps, and then so that way it's not hogging up a lot of storage. Literally, you can back this up to Google, which means that if you back it up to a Google Cloud source, means that you can actually share with other people. So like how it backs up to Google Drive. And then, like I said, like you have a group of people that's in your class studies. You all use Google Drive to share information. You literally could just share this to everyone in your group through Google Drive. So it makes it easier to just kind of just send things out. That's a real nice touch. I kind of like that. Besides that, if you're a reporter or, if you do like media news and stuff like that, this definitely becomes a handy tool. While using your Pixel phone and recording audio and having it backed up, really just kind of helps. So you have like a backup of it. You have a source to go to and grab it in case you ever need it for future notes. So this is actually kind of nifty. Yes, of course, not everybody is going to find this useful, but it's there. So that's the thing that at least for me, I'm just like, hey, this is cool. My apartment is cold as hell, so it gave me the sniffles today. So I apologize. But anyways, okay, so we get that. We get measure heart and respiratory rate in Google Fit. Google Fit can use your Pixel's front-facing camera and computer vision to measure respiratory rate by detecting small changes on your chest as you breathe. Meanwhile, measuring your heart rate involves placing your finger on the rear lens. This feature starts rolling out next week, though it's not officially part of the March Pixel feature drop. I remember talking more, hearing more about this, and this is actually pretty cool. So, yes, it's got its flaws. So it's got its goods, it's got its bads. Just really just depends on how what you're going to use this for. Technically, the whole read your heart rate with your finger over the camera sensor on the back of the Pixel 5 or Pixel 4a, Pixel 4a 5G, or even the Pixel 4. One of the things that you have to think about here is that you have to be still. While there is a lot of monitors, like the Apple Watch, has it can check your heart rate and everything like that while you're moving. There's also different fitness bands that can do that. So this is kind of cool that they did bring it. However, this version of it is just, you have to stay still in order for it to work properly. If you move or anything like that, it's going to give it's just going to mess up the whole thing. As far as it for checking your respiratory, though, actually, the AI in the camera basically counting, or looking for changes in your chest movements as you're breathing to be able to detect. I think that's actually pretty cool. And while this is just something that's just really just starting to come in, it can easily develop it. My main thing here with Google is that I'm actually kind of happy in the fact that they are making strides to get into the health and fitness. I think that's something that they really need to go with it. And ultimately, they need to bring the Pixel Watch. They've acquired Fitbit. We know this already. It's time to get the gears in motion and get going with it. The longer they wait, the less the flame for desire for a type of, tech is going to go away. I mean, there are people that's interested in it now. If I did a video talking about the Pixel Watch, I know for a fact it will get some views because there are people that's interested in it. But as people, grow in time, they tend to just be like, I don't care anymore. And then they're done. When that happens, yeah, Google will like have no stand to actually, to actually have like a fan base behind it and have like a reason to develop one. That's mainly it. Underwater photos. So this one I think people are going to find interesting. Pixel phones now work with the Kraken support universal smartphone housing to capture marine life and seascapes. The UI is near identical, save for a bar at the top of the specific accessory stats. So get access to your Pixel's camera features, including night sight, portrait mode, motion photos, and video directly through Pixel Camera app for high quality images, and you and your underwater friends. So Google touts this is giving users the ability to capture the same kinds of high quality images they are accustomed to above water and do it underwater without the cumbersome cameras and cases scuba divers have traditionally used. Okay. So, I mean, here's the thing about this. And, Max from High on Android could really, he could really attest to this. So if you're going to take your phone and get some underwater shots, you definitely want to have some sort of protective casing around your phone if you're going, in salt water. Max took several water resistant devices on a vacation with him a couple of years ago, and he went and took pictures at the beach and the water and whatnot, and he opened up several of his phones that pretty much crapped out on him. And what he found was that the salt water eroded the protection within the device to protect against water damage. So it's not a good idea to take your water resistant phone into ocean salt water. It's just not a good thing. It will find a way in. It will erode the protective grommets and things like that they have placed inside to give water resistance. It will eat away at that, allowing water in, touching very important components, therefore damaging the phone. So, a casing such as the one that showed here on the website, you would put your phone in, it would completely, keep your phone dry and allow you to submerge underwater. And I'm pretty sure there's a specific depth that it will go up to before the pressure underneath in the water will start to affect the casing, allowing either, for it to compromise the case itself and allow water in. I mean, you have to look at those things too. But while this is cool, being able to take underwater photos and stuff like that, I would still recommend to a lot of people that you wrap your phone up in a very, water protective case, just so that, because even in the pool, let's take it to a different level and say go to the pool. The chlorine in the pool can affect it too as well. I mean, so, the salt water can affect it. Chlorine water, like especially a pool that they dump a lot of chlorine in it. I don't know if you guys ever been to like a pool that, the guy who does the maintenance on it decided to put like a whole lot of chlorine into it. And when you just go for a swim and you pop out, for air for, in the water, your eyes kind of burn because there's so much chlorine in there and you can kind of smell it. That tends to happen. So, underwater photos, hey, I mean, it's cool, but it's not something that I would say, definitely do. Okay, we got Gboard Smart Compose. After launching in Gmail as a Pixel 3 exclusive and docs, Smart Compose is now officially coming to Gboard for select messaging apps. The ML feature will offer a complete sentences as you write, suggesting common phrases in gray to cut down on repetitive typing and potential typos. You swipe on the space bar to accept suggestions. Smart Compose currently only works in the US and when set to English. So this doesn't work with any other language, but it kind of gives you a little diagram here of like what you can do, obviously. And that's pretty cool too, because I don't know, sometimes I get real annoyed, texting, but then, the person that I'm communicating with, you have to text. And yeah, sometimes I just want to get my point across really quick. So, having this, yeah, it's going to be helpful. It's going to be real helpful just to, get those quick messages out to, be very quick. We can hurry with them and whatnot. And therefore, makes less of a thumb workout, to be quite serious. Okay, what else have we got here? So, Pixel Stand. What is this? The Pixel Stand gets a new bedtime screen and redesigned prompts to help you ease into sleep. You can read more on this. This feature is available on Pixel phones with wireless charging capabilities. So the Pixel 3, 3XL, 4, 4XL, and 5. Okay. Well, it helps you get some sleep. New IWD wallpapers. The curated culture section introduced last month for Black History Month in Google Wallpapers has 3 new backgrounds ahead of International Women's Day on March 8th. Focusing on the strength and transformation of women, they illustrated by Spanish duo Cachete Jack. So, I guess you could say these wallpapers are kind of googly, but I mean, it's actually pretty cool. I think that's kind of nice. So it seems that is all that came in with the Google Pixel feature drop. So we got literally we got recorder, cloud backup, and a web app. So we got that. We got measure heart and respiratory rate in Google Fit. We got underwater photo shots. We got Gboard Smart Compose now. So that's now in Gboard, not just in Gmail, but it's in Gboard. We got a little update to the Pixel Stand to help people ease off into a nice deep sleep. And then we got some new wallpapers. So not a lot of major things brought in. I think the recorder and the underwater photos is going to be the thing that they really just kind of like tout about the most. I don't, other than that, I don't really see them like, I don't really see like anything else. I mean, like the Pixel Stand thing, that's actually pretty cool. But you know what? If you have like a Google Home, then it activated on my Pixel Book. But if you have the home thing, that works out just as well too. I mean, I still have the original one. Like I still have my original G Home, and the one that looks like an air freshener, and it's sitting right there on my desk. And it does what I need it to do. If I need to set an alarm, it sets an alarm. If I needed to play some relaxing sounds so I can sleep, it does that. So it does what I need it to do. Hands down. I mean, I got no reason to get a Pixel Stand. It'd be nice to have a Pixel Stand, you know what I mean? Like wirelessly charge your phone and stuff like that. But at the same time too, like I prefer wired charging my phone right now at this time. It just charges faster on the wire. So that is the reason why that I do it. The underwater photo shots, like I said, that's going to be absolutely amazing. But again, the problem, is with taking it into salt water can really erode and damage the phone, even if it's water resistant. So people got to understand IP certifications and it being, IP68 water and dust resistant does not mean that it's waterproof. See, the key word in those things is water resistance versus waterproof. It can resist water to a degree before eventually water will become a factor and damage the phone. And it's resistant to dust to a degree until dust can get inside and cause some damage. That's why it's resistant. It's resistant to a degree, but it's not proof. So it's not waterproof. It's not dust proof. That's the difference key there. So, yeah. And, anyone that's going to utilize this, definitely, as 9to5 Google suggested, get you a particular case. That one case they were talking about, the Kraken. Put your Pixel into that, and then you can go on. You can catch marine photography. How cool would it be if you were like, say, at the beach, and you go out, you swim out, and from the beach, maybe to a point where like, it starts to become like 6 feet deep, and you're kind of bobbing with the ocean current, and you're able. I mean, you're able to get a night sight shot that looks really good. Okay, you can't get astrophotography because you can stick you know a tripod in the water, but the ocean currents is going to constantly move that, which is going to completely shut off the astrophotography mode. So no, you're not going to get astrophotography shots, but you can get some really good night shots, and you can come up with some really good ideas to get these night shots, like maybe like a half and half scenario. You know what I mean? Like if you hold it right and you have like half of the lens of the camera like above water, the other half underwater, so it gives that half. You guys know what I mean? That half effect in a night sight. That should be pretty cool. If you live in an area where you have like a small reef nearby and you go scuba diving, the evening time, you probably get some really badass shots with night sight on the Pixel phones. So the underwater shots things, can come in handy, especially for those people that like to play around with gimmicky features like that, because it is a gimmicky feature. And you can attain those shots. Or if you're at a pool party, you probably can get some definitely good shots, like a pool party at night, in the pool with everybody. You just got to keep your phone wrapped. You just got to keep it wrapped up. That's the thing. Like, the only thing, I mean, you probably could jump in the water with it, maybe be in the water with it for like, 2 or 3 minutes and get those shots that you want. Take the phone out and wipe it down with a towel. Be totally cool. But yeah, I just wouldn't risk it. I just really would not risk it. I mean, I've had water resistance phones for some time now. I've gone to beaches and stuff like that. I've never taken it into the water. Then after when I seen Max Lee and what he went through, I think with some of his Galaxy devices, and I forgot what other device he had that was water resistant, but it ended up getting damaged. I think it was a Pixel that got damaged. It might have been like the 3XL or the 4XL. One of the two. I remember Max took it into the ocean water and it just crapped out on him. Yeah. But the underwater photography shot's pretty cool. The recorder, audio recorder and backup to cloud, that's a nice touch. But these aren't like wowing Pixel features, you know what I mean? The whole thing with Google Fit, being able to read your heart rate by putting your finger on the back camera sensor, I mean, that's cool and everything like that. Some people are going to complain that you can't get an accurate reading if you're moving. You have to sit still to get that reading. And then, of course, your respiratory, like checking your breathing by using the selfie cam and allowing the AI to kind of like look for visual changes in your chest as you're breathing to kind of determine. I mean, that stuff's cool. I really like the fact that Google's breaking into the health scene. That's a really nice touch. So, yeah, that is March. March 2021 Pixel drop. So, anyways, let's not sharing here. Let's see, because I kind of went through that pretty quickly. So we'll just kind of see if there's any news on the Pixel 6. People seem to be interested in that, so I'll kind of bring that around. Okay, well, we got like an article from February 22nd that's been put out by Tom's Guide. I guess we'll also take a look at that and see what's up with that. Excuse me from all my sniffles. Okay, so Pixel 6 release date, price, specs, feature leaks, and all that other good stuff. So let's go here. And well, it looks like that the page is loading up more, but basically this is from Tom's Guide. So I'll pop the link in the chat for those people that want to check it out later on. And here we go. There you have it. There's a link in the chat. Okay. All right. So what the heck? No. I didn't want to no, I did not want to. You hate that when you accidentally click an ad. Google's got another phone coming this fall. It's going to have another phone coming every fall. And here's what to expect from the Pixel 6. All right. So let's see. The familiars here where they talk about the Pixel 5 hasn't been out for long. The phone's only been shipping since last October and all the yada. Then they have like the iPhone 12 versus Pixel 5 flagship phone face off and all that other stuff. Internal code names for future Google phones last year: Passport, Raven, and Oriole. That's pretty cool. Let me make this full screen for you guys. There we go. Okay. It's believed that Passport refers to a potential foldable phone. So they're not really going with fish names anymore. Now they're going like, Passport, Raven, and Oreo. Weird. It's believed that Passport refers to the potential foldable Pixel or foldable phone from Google, but that Raven and Oreo might be early versions of the Pixel 6, perhaps a standard in the XL mode or XL model. There's certainly room for improvement over the Pixel 5, a solid phone that continues Google's tradition of producing great cameras, but one that's underpowered compared to some of the best Android phones out there. Yeah, it is using a Snapdragon 765G. That's no secret. So let's see. The latest Google Pixel 6 news. This was updated on February 22nd. Thanks to Android 12 developer preview, we've got reports of 2 additional authentication features that may come to the Pixel 6, as well as a clue that the Pixel 6 XL will be part of the lineup. So that was they found some code within Android 12 developer preview 1. Google is pretty predictable when it comes to rolling out Pixel flagships. Its marquee phones almost always debut in October. One notable exception, the Pixel 5, which moved up its debut by a day to September 30th. So that's still pretty much October. We're expecting Google sticks to form and targets early October for the Pixel 6 launch, though there's been no rumor or leak confirming that yet. Interesting. The Pixel 6 likely won't be the only phone we see from Google this year. While it's unlikely that the rumored Pixel 5 Pro is going to see the light of day, it's not. A Pixel 5a is likely to surface sometime in 2021. The Pixel 3a made its debut at Google I/O May 2019. But because of the pandemic, it pushed the Pixel 4a launch to later in the summer of 2020. We're expecting a spring launch for Google's next budget phone. Gotcha. Pricing. The pricing strategy for Pixel flagships is harder to get a beat on. While the Pixel 4 was very much pitched as a premium model starting at $799, the Pixel 5 launched at $699 because of the corners they cut. Of course, to get the lower price, Google had to make compromises. Yes, sir. Okay, so it's unlikely that Google will want to drop the price on the Pixel 6 even lower. So the question will be whether it goes back to producing a more premium phone or sticks with the Pixel 5's pricing. We're guessing it will be the latter, given that both Apple and Samsung have opted for lower entry-level prices on their phones, the iPhone 12 mini and the Galaxy S21. So the Galaxy 12 mini at $699, which is pretty much the same price as the Pixel 5 launched at. And then you have the Galaxy S21 that was at $799. So they're thinking that they're going to go back to about $799, $899 pricing for the Pixel 6. Maybe like $799 for the Pixel 6, $899 for the Pixel 6 XL. That's what they're thinking. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm really thinking that. Let's see. Google Pixel 6 cameras. Jesus, every time I say the word Google, it launches my Google Assistant on my Pixel book. I got to turn that off. I really do. But anyways, so what are some of the things that we need to know? I mean, they're just kind of going on like, okay, like the design. There really hasn't been much to change in the design. The display, to talk a little about the display. I want to know here, let's see, what should we expect in the XL model? Yeah. With the likely launch of the Pixel 6 still more than half a year away, the full specification of the phone remains somewhat of a mystery. The biggest question facing Google will be what processor to use in its next flagship. With the Pixel 5, Google opted for the Snapdragon 765G, a capable system on chip, but nowhere near as powerful as the 8 series chipsets, like the Snapdragon 865. The leading Qualcomm silicon right now, the leading Qualcomm silicon right now is suggested Snapdragon 888. It's what's powering the Galaxy S21 family, and you'll undoubtedly see it inside more phones by the time the Pixel 6 rolls around. Opting for Snapdragon 888 may push up the price of the Pixel 6, but there's a possible alternative for Google. Qualcomm has also released the Snapdragon 870 5G, which is essentially a more advanced version of the Snapdragon 865 Plus. We'd assume the chipset costs less than the 888 and could be an option for phone makers like Google that produce premium flagship phones but have an eye fixed on overall costs. But here they're not mentioning anything. Oh, there they go. They're at the bottom. So they're still talking about the 870. So I feel like they're kind of being a little bit biased right here with this part, because they're continuing to like really give the shine to Qualcomm, almost like they're hinting to Google, like, don't leave Qualcomm, stay with them. There's an 870 and there's an 888, you know what I mean? But here's where it gets down to it. If rumors are to be believed, Google may be about to deliver a blow to Qualcomm and go proprietary on this one, developing its own chipset with the help of Samsung. That rumor surfaced last year, and the chips resulting from that partnership could find their way on the Pixel phone starting this year. They confirmed it. Google confirmed it. Samsung confirmed it also when they were confirming that there's going to be a foldable Pixel phone this year. They confirmed it. Google Pixel 6 battery. And I'll give you guys my one idea that I think might happen when it comes to it. But the battery, 4,000 milliamp hour battery or 5,000, you know what I mean? Like they're still going to go with that. Of course, they want the 90 hertz refresh or 120 hertz refresh rate on these Pixel 6s. I'm thinking 120 hertz if they're really going to do it. And you'll see some significant difference between that and a 60 hertz. So double the refresh rate, you'll definitely see it. Will there be a charger? That's a very good question. That's absolutely a very good question. Will there be a charger? Well, let's see. And they're just spitballing the rumors here. This is not definitive facts. But they're going off and they're saying that there's another battery life and charging issue that suddenly becomes relevant for upcoming phones like the Pixel 6. Will it include a charger? Last fall, Apple became the first phone maker to stop including chargers with its phone when it shipped all 4 iPhone 12 models without the accessory in the box. Apple says the move is better for the environment, and while some rival companies rolled their eyes at Apple's decision, they also followed in suit. Samsung doesn't include chargers with the Galaxy S21 models. That's true. Therefore, would it be a surprise to see the Pixel 6 come with little more than just USB charging alongside the phone? Best start hoarding those power bricks. Okay. Yeah. So here's my thing on this. Let me get back up to the top here. And why did it freeze? I'm not sure why the website froze, but okay. All right. So here's the thing. Okay. So with the Google Pixel 6, first of all, what could possibly happen? What if the Pixel 6 has a Qualcomm chip? Then where is this Project Whitechapel? Where is this, proprietary chipset being built by Google? Well, I think about it like this. If they launched the Pixel 6, let's say like the Snapdragon 870 or the Snapdragon 888, then more than likely, if they did that, their proprietary chip would be in the Pixel Fold. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, since the Pixel Fold is going to be trial and error, Google's first attempt at a foldable device, they would make sense that while they're trying out foldable technology, might as well also try out their own proprietary chip in that phone and see how that works out. And their Pixel 6 go with the Qualcomm chip again this year. And if their proprietary chip does very, very well, with rigorous testing and benchmarks and stuff like that, if it does very, very well, then they implement that in the Pixel 7. That wouldn't be a bad move for Google to do at all whatsoever. That'd actually be pretty good. That'd be a smart move for them to do, because if they put their proprietary chip in the Pixel 6, which is likely to sell way more than the Pixel Fold, and that chip is just garbage, it's really going to put a real bad stain on Google. I mean, Google doesn't have the best reputation already. They don't have the best reputation when it comes to, Android, when it comes to hardware, when it comes to services. Like, they don't have the best track record when it comes to these things. This is just a realization that, like a lot of us have to have, even those diehard Google fans and diehard Pixel fans, they got to have that. You got to understand that they don't have the best track record when it comes to that. So I would definitely say, since there's going to be a three phone release this year, as far as like the flagship Pixels, and this is not counting the Pixel 5a. Okay, so technically there's going to be 4 Pixels this year: 5a, the Fold, the 4, the 5a, the Fold, the 6 and 6XL. So four Pixels this year. I don't know why I said 5. My math is bad today. But with this, in fact, the the Pixel Fold is going to sell. Somebody is going to buy it. Wow, how the hell did I say that with a straight face? Excuse me one moment. But yeah, someone's going to buy it. Someone will buy the Pixel Fold. That's a given. So I honestly think that that's the way that they should do this. I mean, I get it. They want to showcase their new proprietary chip and go away from Qualcomm, and by that would yield a different pricing for the Pixel 6. But you don't have the best track record, Google, at trying something new. So that's why I say, like, the best plan for Google would be to put the proprietary chip in the Pixel Fold. And, for those people who spend that kind of money for foldable technology, to also be able to say, like, if this thing is, good, if it's efficient on power, if it's, fast at processing, all those things to take a look at while they're dealing with the Pixel Fold and the foldable technology that comes, with the foldable display that's going to be given to Google by Samsung. They can just do all that rigorous testing with, i.e., they're testing foldable device, the very first Pixel Fold. And then with the Pixel 6 and the 6XL, use the Snapdragon 888 within that. Of course, some people are going to be like absolutely pissed off when the pricing for the Pixel 6 goes back up to like $799 and $899 for the XL model, which I would be totally okay with it going back to that price, as long as they offer different variations of it. So like I'm saying is like a Pixel 6, 128 gig. Because I know someone's going to be like, no, they should start off at 256 and go 512 and da. Look, you're reaching. Okay, I'll be honest with people. You're reaching. I mean, it's not Apple, it's not an iPhone. So, okay, where I see Google this year with the Pixel 6 starting off base model is going to be, again, 128 gigs. They will go 128 gigs again. That would be at $799. And then if you wanted 256 gig, that would be $899, and that's for the Pixel 6. Now, if you go to the 6XL, it's going to start off at $899 for the 128. If they had a 256 variation, that would be $999. But I also would like to see Google bring for Google to bring a much larger storage capacity. We're talking, like 512. Hell, we're talking a terabyte if possible. But no, it would be good to see Google go that route. It would be good to see Google go that route and just, have multiple variations. Because last year, there was only one storage variation for the Pixel 5. That's 128 gigs. And it was the same with the Pixel 4a and the 4a 5G. There is no other higher storage capacity models for the Pixels. And don't get me wrong, while I can utilize 128 gigs, I mean, I have the Pixel 4 that's only 64 gigs, and I'm utilizing that, and I'm not, completely cluttered with a lot of stuff. My Pixel 4 is doing just fine, and it has the same amount of things that I have on my other Pixel phones because everything shares across between devices. So, and I have well over about 42% of the internal storage free and available on my Pixel 4, which is only 64 gigs. So you can imagine how much space I have on my 4a and my Pixel 5 that has 128 gigs. So I can make 128 gigs work, but I'm not everybody. I'm not all of you who watch, I can't speak for everybody. So somebody else, 128 may not be enough at all. And this is why it does make sense to have multiple variations of storage capacity. This was probably one of the biggest frowns on Google Pixels, was last year's model releases with only having one storage capacity variation, and that was it. So that just, to me, no, being a Pixel junkie, to me, that was just one of the more sad cases. But yeah, definitely, while I am excited for Google having a proprietary chip of their own, I really, 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 really would want them to just this year go with the Qualcomm chip. They'll go with the Snapdragon 888. If they don't want to have like a very high price Pixel device, then go with the Snapdragon 870. That would be totally fine. Go with that this year. Use your proprietary chip within your Pixel Fold, since your Pixel Fold will be like the beta test for foldable technology under the G brand. So you can test your proprietary chip with your Pixel Fold, because again, like I said, somebody will buy it. And if it turns out after all the benchmarks shows that it's power efficient, that it is it's fast at processing, that it can handle everything that you're going to throw at this phone. It's a very powerful chip at the end of the day, and great with maintaining a constant connection to 5G bands. If it can do all this, then throw it in the Pixel 7. Because me being the nerd that I am okay with waiting an additional year for a proprietary chip by Google to come out. I will wait an entire year. I don't have a problem with that, because I like the idea of measuring 10 times and cutting once instead of measuring once and cutting 10 times. It makes more sense the other way. Measure a thing 10 times and only cut once, and it's accurate. So let this be beta tested in the Pixel Fold to see how well this proprietary chip is, and allow this year's Pixel 6 and 6 XL to continue to use Qualcomm's chip just for this year. And we'll wait an additional year for the Pixel 7 to have Google's proprietary chip in it. That's my advice to Google. But what can I say? I'm just a little blip, in the entire universe. It's not like they're going to hear what I'm saying on the matter, and much less would they even listen. So with that being said, going down, before I close this off, talking about the Pixel 5a a little bit more, because I talked about it last night. I was just really struggling to try to understand what were they thinking when it comes to the Pixel 5a. I know that they have to, that if they want to continue the budget line from Google, they got to put out the flag, not the flagship, but a budget. They got to maintain it. They got to put out another one, the Pixel 5a. But then, sad case here. See, what I think they could have done this year was release the Pixel 4a. Well, not this year, but last year. Release the Pixel 4a, right? In August of last year. Then release the Pixel 5 in October of last year. The 4a 5G shouldn't have been released until this year under the moniker Pixel 5a. That's what I'm going to say on that. Think about it, right? Look at Apple. Look at Apple and what they've done, right? You have the iPhone SE 2020. So the iPhone Special Edition 2020 released last year, right? Embodied the same style of the iPhone 8, 7, and 6, right? The same one, Touch ID in the front, all that, right? But, with the latest stuff, right? And then everyone was wondering, how come there was no iPhone SE XL or SE Max or anything of the larger size? And then they said that they will be releasing another, like the iPhone SE, the larger model that should have came with the iPhone SE 2020. They said they were going to release it in 2021. And a lot of people were baffled, like, why? Make sense. This is where Apple made sense with it. They weren't going to release an iPhone SE and then another iPhone SE that was very similar to the iPhone SE 2020 and undercut itself. This is what Google did. That Google pretty much shat the bed with this one. So they made the Pixel 4a. And then they made the Pixel 5, and they're like, we're going to have a bigger model. So they made the Pixel 4a 5G, which had a lot of the things that the Pixel 5 has, including the processing chip, but then also retained some of the design hardware that the Pixel 4a had. And so we had like a hybrid. So the 4a 5G acted as an XL model to the 4a and acted as an XL model to the 5. But then now you're going to put on a Pixel 5 and a Pixel 5a, and that, how do you make that marginally different from the 4a 5G to justify having it? That's the problem. How do you justify it? Because literally that is the problem. That's the problem. That's why I was trying to end last night's live stream talking about, and I'm going to end today's live stream talking about this. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. From what I'm reading and what I'm researching on the Pixel 5a, it's pretty much a Pixel 4a 5G. But then why release the Pixel 4a 5G with the 4a and the 5 when you could have just held off on it? Just held off on it, release the 4a, release the 5, wait until spring, release the 4a 5G, but call it the Pixel 5a. And then that would have made total sense, because people would have been like, oh, well, yeah, it's very similar to the Pixel 5, which was last year's, Pixel flagship, quote unquote. And, polycarbonate design as the Pixel 4a, headphone jack as the Pixel 4a, but much larger. And then that would have been a Pixel 5a, because what they're doing and what people are going to see this as, what consumers are going to see this as, and consumers are not stupid. People got to get off this train and thinking that consumers are just there begging to be taught. They're not begging to be taught. They're looking for different perspectives to help them make conscious purchases. So consumers know the Pixel 4a 5G looks like this, sounds like this, is this. And then the Pixel 5a comes out, and they're going to be like, well, it's pretty much the Pixel 4a 5G. So what the hell? What the hell, Google? And this could be the very first time that the Pixel Budget A series flops really freaking hard. This could be it. This could be where Google is too googly for its own damn good and shoots themselves in the foot, in the testes, and in the brain. Because there's even if like they were talking about like a different Qualcomm chip, that still doesn't change a drastic characteristic difference of why there should even be a Pixel 5a when the 4a 5G pretty much is what the 5a is going to be. Regardless, that's the point that's being made. Snapdragon 732 is not a drastic difference, even though it's 5G capable or whatever. It's not a drastic difference. You're talking about, again, benchmarking it to see if it's power efficient, if the processing is fast, and all this other stuff that you gotta gauge the chip by. Those things got to be taken into context. But you also got to look at the outside hardware add-ons to it, right? So we know the Pixel 5a is going to be a dual camera setup. It's going to have ultra wide and then your standard wide angle, which is what's normally used today as the normal camera sensor. And then of course you got the punch hole selfie design in the front. It's going to have a larger display, thinking like 6.1 or 6.2 inch display, which is pretty much the realm of the 4a 5G. Like everything that they've described about the Pixel 5a is the Pixel 4a 5G from what I'm seeing, just about. So what entices anybody to upgrade to this phone? And why would Google do something like this that would actually tarnish the only saving grace that it had? Because you got to think, when the Pixel 3 dropped, a lot of people were very upset with the Pixel 3. When the Pixel 3 dropped, there were just some things about it that people didn't like. Ultimately, the battery life was just, to a lot of people, it's just not good, because when you have like a 2915 milliamp hour battery in the Pixel 3, the Pixel 3, I'm getting my pixels crossed over right now, so forgive me for that. It was power efficient, but it still died quickly. People were upset. They were like, why didn't they just put like a 3500 milliamp in the Pixel 3 and a 4000 milliamp in the Pixel 3 XL? But when you look at them, the saving grace that helped Google after 2018 into 2019 was the unveiling of the rumored budget Pixel phone, the Pixel 3a, which brought a lot of good dynamics to the table. For the fact that it was just slightly bigger than the Pixel 3 and a little bit smaller than the Pixel 3 XL. So it was in a sweet spot. Kind of similar to like the iPhone XS and the iPhone XR, right? So you get the iPhone XS, the XS Max. So the XS is small, XS Max is really big. XR was just right in the sweet spot. The 3A pretty much was like the moniker of that. And then you also have to think too at the same time that the Pixel 3, which was kind of the most ridiculous things ever, had eSIM and physical SIM support, but it had DSSS, so dual SIM single standby. They never programmed a secondary IMEI specifically for the eSIM, and then another one for the hard SIM. So yeah, you couldn't do what the Pixel 3a can do. So when the 3a launched, while it had a polycarbonate body, 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks, a slightly larger display than the Pixel 3, one bottom firing speaker, one top firing speaker instead of dual front firing speakers and stuff like that. What it did bring to the table was the ability to have dual SIM, dual standby. And so that really kind of catapulted the A series from Google all the way up. Like, it really catapulted it. And a lot of people were really actually liking it. As a matter of fact, TK just recently did an update video on his Pixel 3a XL. I think it's 3X XL 3a, why he went back to using it. And one of the things that he talked about in his video, being, just straight up with everybody, was that it had DSDS. It had dual SIM, dual standby. So literally, instead of having to carry like 3-4 phones on him because he has multiple lines, he's able to put 2 of his lines into one phone, which was the 3A, and use it. And he did. And, he used the camera again. He used the video recording on it, and it was just like, it was good, So, yeah, that catapulted the Pixel 3a. And then on top of that, while it catapulted the Pixel 3a, it set the bar for what Google's budget mid-range would be. And then the Pixel 4a continued that, bringing all the same things that we loved from the Pixel 3a with a much updated, refreshed look and a lower price. As the 3a launched at $399, the 4a launched at $349. That was a great touch by Google to do that. So leading into the Pixel 5a, what we're really getting is the Pixel 4a 5G to a degree, with some minor differences. Obviously, the chipset being used inside, maybe the amount of RAM that it has. Maybe they'll go from 6 gigs of RAM that's in the 4a 5G and put 8 gigabytes of RAM in the Pixel 5a. But that still is not a marginal difference to say if you're on the 4a, upgrade to the 5a. I mean, especially at pricing, because the pricing is really where it's going to be a make or break for this. If the 5a does not try to retain at least $379.99 pricing, if it excels past $400, it's going to ruin everybody's perception of Google being king of producing badass mid-range phones. It's just going to ruin that. It's going to tarnish it. Their little sticker that they had over here that said we're number 1 for budget mid-range, it's going to fall. And I know everybody else has their own thing. Like, some people will be like, no, OnePlus is pretty good at being mid-ranger, bro, and Samsung's pretty much got it on lock with the Fan Edition. Or, yeah, I get it. Everyone has their preferences, but I'm just saying, like, there are only a few companies that could be named that could give, a lot of performance and goodness in a smartphone at a very cheap price. OnePlus is one of them. OnePlus definitely is one of them. You look at the OnePlus Nord N10 5G, it launched at $299. That's $50 less than what the Pixel 4a launched. And it had 5G capability already. So, but when it comes to the stock Android experience, when it comes to being supported by Google, when you have that luxury to know it's supported by Google, you'll be fine. You'll be good. You'll be good to go. When it's that, yeah, you pretty much look at the Google Pixels as top notch. But I say here, at the end of the day with all this, the 5A scares the shit out of me. Not because that it's going to be an insane, crazy phone. That remains to be seen when it launches. But could it be Google's ultimate mistake? Only time will tell. So thank you. Anyways, thank you everybody for joining in. Those that did pop in for the brief second. Today's pretty much a dead day. There wasn't a lot of anyone that came in here today. So, but oh well, it is what it is. If you watch the replay and you made it all the way through the whole 1 hour show, #nerd up, and you guys would have leveled up. Also, hashtag, let's see, what would we say for it? Pixel Dilemma. Hashtag Pixel Dilemma. If you watch it all the way through, as you know, today's whole 1 hour episode was just completely on pixels, but I wasn't going to talk about the Pixel 6. Ended up talking about it. So now I feel really bad for Aisha Morris, who was just in here saying, curious to see what the 6 will offer. So maybe I'll reach out to Aisha and said, hey, I actually did talk about the Pixel 6 if you want to check it out. I don't know. That's stupid me. I was being stupid today. But yeah, today's hump day, so I could be forgiven. And everyone's feeling the hump day blues. Everybody feels the hump day blues. But yeah, so I'm gonna jam out of here now and enjoy the rest of my day. I may go live again later on today if there's something else like worthy to discuss on the live interaction basis type thing, but more than likely not. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed, you know, watching today's podcast and even listening to the replay, smash the like button. Okay, that really, really, really helps me out. If you have not subscribed, what the hell are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. So then that way you'll never miss an episode. And by that, I mean, hit the subscribe and the bell icon and choose all notifications. Eventually, YouTube will fix the notifications and then they'll be working just fine. Then you always get notifications when I go live if you guys like the content that I bring to the table. Until then, yeah, I'm going to jam out. Y'all take it easy. Be blessed. Be nice to one another. Love one another. Be respectful. Take it easy. I'm out.